relationships, trauma, philosophy. Relationships, trauma, philosophy.
Welcome to episode 56 of the Yalla Habibi podcast.
Welcome,
the greatest podcast known to man.
Absolutely.
And woman.
And woman, and otherwise.
And otherwise, whatever you are, wish to be.
We are an inclusive space.
We are a very inclusive space. We are. That's actually the reason why our logo is so multicoloured, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
That was actually the thinking behind it, to make it very inclusive of all genders, all sexuality, all races, identities, everyone. So that gives you a bit of insight into our branding. On to other news that's going on is Liver King. Do you know who Liver King is?
No, but I suspect he's not very vegan.
No, Jesus, no. Yeah, he's gone batshit crazy. I think it's interesting to speak about him because not necessarily about what he preaches about, you know, basically it's this ancestral tenets, he calls it. I don't know, it's like 9 tenets or something. But basically it's like, you know, connecting more with our ancestors, becoming more primal, e.g. eating like raw meat, and just operating like almost like caveman, like you know, he just like sleeps on the floor. I don't know, he does a lot of weird shit. I mean, you only have to watch a couple of his shots to see he's a bit off it. You know, people do their thing, but he seems to have gone off the walls a bit. What I find particularly interesting about it, though, is basically a little concise wrap-up of who he is. He preaches that he created a big nutritional brand off it, preaching, you know, eat liver, you're going to get really healthy. Created a bunch of, like, proteins and meal sort of powders that had liver in it and stuff like this. Made millions off it. And then he got caught for taking, taking $20,000 worth of steroids every month, and then everyone started hating him because he's got like an unreal body. He's like a chiseled Greek god. But this is why everyone turned on him, because you know he's preached all this health and fitness, and this is the way you live, and you'll be healthy. And he's on all this steroids, and now everyone's got angry at him. Maybe I've got a hot take. I personally think, who fucking cares? Like, loads of people on steroids. Like, to be honest, I unless I'm missing something, I know he has gone. We'll talk about what's happened recently because he has done some weird stuff recently. But in regards to like being on steroids, like, so what? Like the bad thing is that he didn't share that. That's the bad thing, and that's what people are annoyed at. He didn't articulate, I am on steroids, therefore that is adding a significant. That's influencing how I look quite a bit. So I get that. So I guess if you look at the younger demographic, then I can get that. That's what's the word? It's bad business, but
Misleading.
It's misleading. That's the right word. Misleading. And maybe it's wrong for me to say it was obvious. I mean, I knew from day one when I saw it. Anyone who knows enough about steroids, and I'm not a fucking guru of steroids, but there's some people you can look at and it's obvious, because humans can only go so far. It's why steroids are legal in bodybuilding competitions. They literally have legal competitions and non-legal competitions.
Wow.
So there are separate bodybuilding competitions where it is totally fine, and it's not fine. That's how they get so big. Like, it's used, and so I for me it was obvious, but I was just like, okay, cool. And I was eating meat at the time. I was like, wow, this is quite interesting. I looked in. I found it quite insightful, because I'd not heard of this guy. You know, I'd not heard of liver being a valuable thing. But I don't know. It is misleading. I agree. But he seems to have got an insane amount of heat over it.
Well, I think if you've built your brand around something and you're selling an item saying, if you buy this, you can look like me, but leaving out vital information such as, oh, by the way, you also need to take steroids to look like this. Like, I mean, he obviously doesn't believe in the message that he's putting out there. if he's saying, oh, you need to eat liver, and then you're going to get ripped and shredded like this. If you eat this way, you'll look like this. Well, that's actually not true. So he's selling a lie. So I can totally see that. And like, it reminds me of, spoiler alert for Legally Blonde coming up. But in Legally Blonde, there's a woman who's on trial for murdering her husband, and her alibi, and she's like a fitness influencer of the time. Obviously, it's pre-social media, but like she has like exercise videos, and she's famous for having a good body and being a PT. But her alibi that proves that she didn't do it was that she was getting liposuction at the time, but she didn't want anyone to know that, because she was like, it'll totally ruin my brand. So like she didn't want that to come out, which obviously he didn't want the steroids to come out. The reason being, you're selling a lie. You're saying that this is a possibility, and it's not a possibility with the things that you're saying it is.
Yeah, I think that's where the hate comes from, isn't it? I haven't watched all these content, but no doubt he has said that at some point, saying you will look like me. I've not heard him say it, but he's done so much bloody marketing. I'm sure he said it at some point.
Well, how else would you market your product other than you yourself using it?
Yeah, no, of course. No, and he does use it from what I understand. But he's definitely preached that he uses it. And I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, you watch any of his shorts, he's just munching on. I mean, there's some weird ones. I mean, it's probably not, I'll just graze over it. But literally there's a dead deer and he's just got in his mouth in it.
That's so stupid.
Like, literally, he's just shot it. He opens it up and he just eats. That's how primal he's gone in his videos.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just going to die then, isn't he?
Well, I don't know the full information on it recently, but I saw a brief article on something about apparently he's really ill now. I don't know what that's to do with, so I can't carry that conversation on, to be honest, because that's sort of a last minute thing that I saw, but apparently he is quite ill at the moment. But anyway, you're right. He is misleading. That's totally right. I guess for me, because it was just so obvious, I didn't see it as a big deal but the majority, it might not be obvious.
But yeah, particularly younger people, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
They don't know what the signs are that someone's on steroids are. Well, I find the whole concept of that, and that caveman mentality, and when people say, it's like often an argument against veganism, saying what cavemen did and whatever else. But the reality is they were hunters and gatherers. Yes, they did eat meat, but it wasn't like a daily part of the diet. It wasn't and our teeth aren't carnivorous teeth. We have herbivorous teeth. We grind. We don't rip apart. We don't have lion's teeth or whatever. But then, when people go all in and be like, we should be doing what the cavemen did. I'm like, okay, if you want the IQ of a caveman, go and do that. If you want to stop using your phone, if you want to stop using electricity, if you want to just go and take yourself out of society, modern society, why is it that you've chosen the diet part and not the rest of it? Why would you put a lower evolved species as what you're aspiring to? I think the logic in that is so dumb.
That is so true of today. That everyone is so ready and has so much energy to preach something they've learnt about, but no one's ready to commit 100%.
Yeah.
That is so freaking true of really today. I think everyone's got a bit of it, but I think there's a big percentage of people that is so true with. And I just it's the whole eating meat, about they couldn't, if you got the majority of people could not kill a pig. If you put a pig in front of them and you've said, right, take that knife, slit its throat, cut it open, hang it up, let it bleed, come back, rip its skin. 90+% of people, probably even more, 98% of people will not be able to do that.
Totally.
They would and they would have PTSD after it. They would have
100%.
They'd be mortified after it. Get that sheep there, take the zapper and just zap it to death.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reality of what goes on. And I don't know. It's very, I think that's a really good point. That's a really good point. People don't commit fully. I think they get excited by something. I think at the end of the day, we lean into what we listen to most, don't we? What we listen to and what aligns with us most, we lean into it. The more information we consume, we lean into it more and we believe it more. And, parts of it might be true. A lot of it might be true, but it doesn't mean that other things aren't true as well.
Yeah, it's that confirmation bias, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's dangerous to not remain open no matter how much information you have. I think it's dangerous to not remain open and still hear other opinions.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the stats are showing it that, people becoming more ethical and sustainable and being more conscious of what they're eating it's the growth of it is outrunning meat eating or anything around primal tenfold.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the stats. So
yeah, year on year, it's more people are opting for a vegetarian or vegan diet. Definitely.
And just generally trying to become more ethical.
Yeah, totally.
Just generally.
I think people care more about, people who do eat meat, I think, are more bothered about where it comes from.
Yeah, I think they are trying to eat more organic. They're trying to be a bit more conscious of how it is treated, which, it's a step forward. You've got to not acknowledge that. Maybe it's not all the way, but it's a step forward.
Yeah. I mean, there is an argument to be said that it, makes people feel better about it. That, at the end of the day, they still live dead, don't they?
Yeah,
they still wanted to live.
It's got an extra 60 days to live and it had an extra mile of grass to run along.
Yeah, it wouldn't have had any extra time. They'd have still died at weeks old.
There we go. But it had an extra couple miles of field. But there we go. But I don't know. I think in short, what happened to Liver King, he had the wave of hate when it came out, the steroid thing, which came out a couple of years ago. And he, dealt with it. And then what happened is a Netflix documentary came out 4 or 5 months, maybe 3 months ago. And I think that wave of heat has just come back again, but even more because Netflix, its outreach is just crazy.
Yeah.
And I just think I think he's probably just gotten through it and it's hit him again and he's just fucking lost it.
Yeah.
And he's just I thought I'd got through this. And I think he's lost it. And now what he's done, which I do not agree on, he's threatening, Joe Rogan, a big podcast influencer. And, he's a lot more than just a podcast influencer, does many things, amazing things. He's literally, he went to his hometown, Austin, with a gun. Well, people believe a gun. And, actually, no, I think he was in his videos with guns and weapons and he was threatening him and he was chasing him down. And, people believe that he was going to kill him. And he got arrested on the way. And it's just crazy. If you watch the documentary, I recommend it. It's an interesting insight. I think what's most interesting in it is if you look at his family, how they react. I think they look a little trapped. I don't know. They've not spoken out, but the kids look, honestly, if you ever look at their expressions, the way that they're trying to commit to it because he's trying to, get him to say things, but they just, their energy, their face, everything just communicates. I don't believe in this. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Especially the older kid, you'll see it. He laughs in situations. He's you could tell he's just this is silly. So it's interesting. And then I think his wife even is starting to feel quite uncomfortable with the whole Joe Rogan thing. And his family went with him to Austin, and it was weird. He ended up getting arrested. And now apparently he's really ill. He's got a torn meniscus. He's got eye injuries, possible brain bleed. He's lost 25 pounds. And apparently, and also he's been neglecting medicine because he's just been eating loads of meat. So his cholesterol apparently is through the roof.
Fun fact, there's no cholesterol in vegan food.
There isn't. Yeah, so I just think the man is very ill, mentally and physically. And he does share on his Netflix documentary some, tough things upbringing. So, at the end of the day, that's why I do feel sorry eventually for people who get a lot of hate because I know there's reasons to hate people, but there's also usually some reasons behind the scenes to why they've become like that.
Yeah.
And I sympathise with that. It's not, I don't A-OK what they've done. I don't say that's okay, they're a good person, but I just try to think about what's caused this. And a lot of the time it's things that's been out of their control in their earlier life.
Yeah. Wow. That's an interesting insight into the... So, obviously I've not watched any of his content, and I will not engage with it because I feel like a view is a...
No.
A view is you vote with your views on social media, don't you?
You do.
So I won't be going and watching it, but it is interesting to learn about it and to hear what's happened to it. I mean, I'm not overly surprised that someone that eats a deer that they've just killed raw has gone mental. That doesn't surprise me. That wasn't very inclusive language of me to say gone mental, but do you know what I mean? Like
he's had a breakdown. He's had
difficulty.
a very visible breakdown online, and you can see that if you look it up online. But anyway, let's get to Scott's WTF of the week. Every week the world gets a little weirder. Let's talk about the strangest things that went down this week. So a child at the Mason Community Centre in Ohio has actually took an unexpected adventure. And you know the claw machines?
Yeah.
The big claw machines you see in every arcade. I love doing them. But he climbed into it.
Oh, wow.
He climbed into it. It was obviously full of stuffed animals. And there's actually security camera footage of him doing it. So you can actually check that out. But he squeezed through. Surprisingly, they're small. Some of them can be quite big, but I think it gets quite small once you get in there. I think it's quite a small little chute. But he managed to get in. He managed to get in. He got the toy he wanted. But he got stuck. And emergency services were called. And they had to partially dismantle the machine, not the child. They had to partially dismantle the machine to safely free the child. And thankfully, he was uninjured. And was even gifted with the toy he wanted.
Oh my god. As if. I mean, so many questions. Do you know how old the child was or how big it was?
No, I don't know how old he is actually, but I mean, you can see on this video how small he is. I mean, he's probably like a 3-4-year-old kid, I guess. Interesting.
I just like how... I don't know. I don't blame the parents because I know it's really hard watching kids, but like, surely you'd notice that your child was climbing in a machine, and I feel like my instinct would be to try and like grab them out with them.
Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't even think of that.
Just pick them up by the t-shirt and like drop them through the chute.
Yeah, surely the emergency services tried that first, right?
I doubt it.
It's like an IT technician coming and saying, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" Like, has anyone got a pound or a dollar? Has anyone got a dollar? A dollar? Why? Well, the obvious. It's claw. That would be so funny if they tried that. Tried to claw him out.
That would be quite funny.
But yeah, I think
determined little boy.
Yeah, I think he did what a lot of us wanted to do in the past. So
yeah, totally.
It's and just so you know, those I don't know if you want to call them rigged, but they are set to only claw at a certain strength every X amount of time. So a number is set. So let's say it's 20 times. So every 20 times someone plays it, the 20th time it will actually claw enough to actually pick up the toy. That's how they work. Yeah,
and I think that it's also based on, you know, if they haven't had a winner in, you know, like I think it knows when something's been won because of the weight hitting
that would make sense.
The bottom.
Yeah.
And I think that influences it as well, which is, I suppose it is rigged, isn't it?
Yeah.
A percentage.
There is a percentage.
Well.
And that's why you'll see people there with just a cup of coins, and they'll just hit it for like 10 minutes because they know they'll eventually get it.
Yeah.
But they might spend like 20, 30 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's like in Vegas. You'll see like little old women with a glove on and sat with a massive bucket of quarters at the slot machine.
Oh yeah.
And then they'll like, I think they get like security to come and stand by it. You know, if they need the toilet or something, they get someone to guard their machine because they've already put in like $200 worth of quarters, and they know that eventually they're going to get something back. But if someone else comes, you know, if you,
Yes,
I mean, that'd be a
makes
tactic,
sense.
wouldn't it, to watch someone that's played it for a long time but hasn't won.
Yeah.
And if you go to that machine, then you've got more of a chance because it's already been fed by the previous person.
Yeah, I guess they work the same. I don't, if they are on the same algorithm, I'm not
I
sure.
can only imagine. So, like, I don't know
Yeah.
that a casino's going to let a load of people win.
No, I'd feel riskier doing the slot machines. I've never really got into the whole, in the casinos and the gambling and everything. I've just never, one, it's never been a success for me, and two, I don't know, I just find it quite overwhelming in casinos. There's a lot of bright lights and a lot of, yeah,
sensory overload, isn't it?
sensory overload, yeah. In the ones in the UK, they're really quiet. But the ones in Las Vegas are quite loud.
Yeah, that'd be
they're
pretty
really loud.
intense.
The difference, but in the UK actually they're really quiet and they're quite chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there we go.
Oh, very interesting story. Thank you for sharing, my darling. So now it's time for Shelby's Good Vibes Only. Let's take a break from the chaos. Here's something to make you smile this week.
Shelby's Good Vibes Only.
Every year, teenagers take part in something called the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which is a really cool award that is run by the Duke of Edinburgh charity. From my understanding, it involves doing things like hiking. You've got to be able to demonstrate certain skills. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, no, I do. Don't worry. I was a beaver, a cubs, and I was a scout, and I was an explorer scout.
Oh, you're an explorer scout.
I got to an explorer scout, which is top tier, and that's actually where we started talking about the DOV a bit more seriously. But anyway, there's bronze, silver, gold. Hopefully it hasn't changed since I did it, but bronze, silver, gold, and you do the same things, you just do more every time. So I don't know the exact time periods, but let me just assume here. Bronze is something like a 6-month commitment, silver's like a year, and then gold is like 2 year or something like this. It's quite a commitment.
Yeah.
It might be a little less than that though. Sorry if I got that wrong. But basically, it's a blend of things. One, charitable work or / volunteering work, and you have to do this like every week. So if it's doing the goal, let's say it is a year long or 2 years long, you have to do that every week for that long. You have to take on additional hobbies. So for the bronze, I think it's 1, but for the gold, it's like 2 or 3. So like a new sport, for example, maybe join the chess team, whatever. You have to do multiple hobbies. There'll be a couple other things I'm missing, but there's the volunteering definitely, new hobbies. There might be 1 or 2 other things I'm missing you might have to do.
I think there's hiking. I'm sure there's
No, this is the final bit
sorry.
I'm getting to.
Jumping the gun.
These are just the other things you have to do. But the final one is, yes, it's about a week. Again, bronze, silver, and gold, you do a hiking element, but it gets longer. And yes, you basically get given locations. You have to navigate completely yourself, be fully self-sufficient. You're obviously camping out for multiple days, and you lead the group. You're actually all doing the test at the same time. It's just someone will lead at different times. So, and they're watching you. They don't tell you, but they keep an eye on you. And you basically just have to, get from A to B. I'm not sure if there's challenges throughout the day. I don't think so. Maybe, but yeah, definitely there's A to B. And bronze, silver, gold, it just gets longer and longer. I think gold ends up being nearly about a week.
Oh wow!
So it's an amazing thing. Like to have that against your CV. Like recruiters take that seriously. Like to have that, it's a proper commitment because most people will do it at quite a young age, like 16, 17, 18. So even younger than that. So it's quite a commitment.
It
I think it's
really is.
brilliant.
And what's exciting is that this year they've got record numbers with over 572,000 young people across the UK taking part in 24 to 25. So there's combined between them, they've done over 5 million hours of volunteering. So that's the first for the charity that they've managed to get that many hours. So yeah, it's just a really, really cool thing that loads of young people have taken part in. And because it's a charity itself, they provided £1.4 million in grants to tackle financial barriers for people to take part in these things. So really exciting. I mean, I think that if you think about what today is like, and that a lot of young people are just constantly on their phone scrolling, and that's like their main hobby. Like,
Yeah.
it's fantastic to hear that record numbers have signed up for something like this, that they're volunteering, they're getting out, they're engaging with their peers in person, they're learning really valuable life skills. That's really inspirational, in my opinion.
It hugely is, and I can see here as well, even 30.8% of 14-year-olds began the bronze DOV.
Oh wow, so like nearly a third of...
Wow. So sorry, you can start even younger. So even 14, they're starting. I think it's really incredible to have that against your CV. I think it's like you said, great learning, amazing application. You know, it really forces you to be independent and really take control when you're left to manage yourself out in the outdoors.
Yeah.
Managing yourself for a weekend for the first time in a house is, still scary as a young kid, but a lot less is going to go wrong. But when you're out in the wilderness and you've just been told, here's a map, there's A, there's B, get to it, and you've got no control of the weather, you've got to do all your food, you've got to put up your tent, if there's any problems in the middle of the night, you deal with them, or you're just going to get cold, you're not going to eat. If you get injured, you need to deal with it. Like, that's a lot of pressure, and when you're doing things like this, things can go bad quickly. So I think that is the ultimate responsibility and test of leadership at that age.
Absolutely. So big up the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. Gonna have to try and talk my nephews into doing it.
You should, honestly. It's fun as well. It's really fun.
Yeah.
There we go. Moving on to our travel segment, and we're going to wrap this up quickly. Favourite and least favourite thing about Montenegro? Favourite thing, my darling? Or let's start with least favourite. Let's end on the favourite.
Okay. Least favourite thing about Montenegro would be... It's a tough one. Maybe the accessibility of taxis.
I thought the taxis were quite good.
Really? Like, no, because there were a few times that we tried to get one and we were like waiting. If there was none in the area, it was like, because we used like this, I think it was called Tesla Go.
Tesla Go, yeah.
Like, we did always eventually get one, but like there were a couple of times where, no, sorry, my least favourite thing is Podgorica bus station.
Bah!
I'm sure we did this in the last episode.
Oh, God. Did we?
I don't know. 100% Podgorica bus station. I think it's because I was thinking about it last episode. But I guess we didn't do a travel segment because we were in the same place.
Yeah.
Podgorica bus station was so annoying. Like, you had to show you... For one, there was a woman sat under a no smoking sign smoking, which was humorous but annoying. And then you had to pay to use the toilet, which is really common in a lot of places in Europe. But we didn't have any change, so we weren't able to do that because I don't think they'd take a €5 off you, or like whatever cash we had they wouldn't take. No,
well, we had the exact amount of cash we needed for the taxi when we got to Tirana in Albania as well.
Yes, that's true.
So we wanted to keep that.
We did. Yeah. We wanted, because we had €30, that's how much taxi was, so we didn't want to take out any more cash. But anyway, so we're like, right, let's go round to the cafe and buy a Coke with card, and then we can use their toilet. So we did that. But then when we came to go to the actual bus, you have to go through like a ticket barrier and there's someone there. And we got our tickets printed off, which was a whole other story that I won't go into too much, but I had to go on a right mission to go and get these bus tickets printed because it said in big red letters at the top, this must be printed. So I went and got it printed, and then I realised in the email it said, if you can't print it, they'll print it for you at the bus station.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been a lot more expensive. It turned out being 30 cents, which was fine, whatever. Anyway, so we've got the bus tickets, we go to try and go through, and the guy goes, no, you need to go to the ticket office to get them like approved. Like, okay, cool. So we go over, and the woman in the ticket office was like, you need to pay an additional €4 as the station fee. Like, what do you mean? We've already bought our tickets online, like we've paid. She's like, well, it doesn't include the station fee, like the cost, it should be, €2 more each, but you've not paid that on the platform you booked. We're like, well, nothing on it says that we have to pay this additional, so we were arguing with her and they were like, oh, we're just going to end up missing it or whatever. But then we didn't have enough cash. And we were like, okay, well, we'll pay on card. No, you can't pay on card. So then we had to go and get cash out, which charges you like between 5 and 7 euros.
5 to 7 euros. All in the Balkans is 5 to 7 euros.
Even if you're getting out 10 euros, that's how much it would cost you.
It's a joke.
Which was so frustrating. So anyway, we had to get cash out, and then we go and then the bus was late, and then the bus dropped us off in the wrong place.
Oh, that was so annoying.
Yeah, the guy was like, so we were supposed to get dropped off at, I don't know, I guess Tirana bus station, but he dropped us off in this random place that was 20 minutes away from there, and everyone was confused by this, and some people even had like bus transfers from there.
Yeah, they had to sprint. They had to sprint there.
Yeah, and the guy was, and it was already late. Like we were over an hour late.
We were all over an hour late. Like I really hate the journey.
Yeah, it was really frustrating.
So stop and start and so hot.
Yeah, it was. So, yeah, and then when we arrived, he was like, well, police closed all the roads, so you got to get off here. I'm like, right. So that was my least favourite thing about Montenegro, was the Podgorica bus station, that whole journey.
Fair enough. And that's fair, because also the bus to Montenegro was a bit of a mess as well. So generally, the buses will get you to places in the Balkans, but they're a bit chaotic.
Yeah, if you've got a flight, do not rely on them being on time.
No, I would opt for an earlier bus. They're a bit chaotic. They'll get you there, but yeah. Least favourite thing about Montenegro. Goodness, the heat was hot. It was hot, but that's not Montenegro's fault. I would say it was probably more Podgorica, just how spaced out everything was. I found that a bit confusing. So Podgorica, which is the capital of Montenegro, is a big city, but I just found it really odd. Like there was no like centre. There was nothing that felt like the city centre. There were spots that kind of felt, but like all the shops and the restaurants were really spread out. So like there was no one area where you could be like, oh, okay, this is the area. That street has restaurants. This street has shops. That street has more restaurants. This street. It was just like this side of the street has 5 restaurants, and then if you walk down that road for 10 minutes, you'll find another row of restaurants. Like there was no area where it was just like, oh, this is the central. There's the mall. There's this. Everything's here. So that kind of bugged me. It just made it harder, and it meant, you had to know where you were going, otherwise you'd be walking for 20 minutes. So I found that a bit bizarre, with it being such a large, it's quite an open city and easy to get around, but yeah, I just found it a bit irritating. There was no like defined centre. I think they would class the clock tower as the defined centre, but again, it wasn't an exciting area to be around. Yeah. There was no particular good restaurant, it was all just takeaways.
Yeah. I'd say it's not a city that you'd be like, oh, you should definitely visit Podgorica.
No, I wouldn't recommend Podgorica. I think it's, with respect, we liked Montenegro. It's a bit of a boring city.
Yeah.
There's not really a right lot going on. And just as a side note, generally, I think let me just preface this. I think the Balkans, if you're a big hiker or big nature lover, then I think the Balkans is great for you. I think it's great for you because there's so many great hiking spots. If you're coming on more like a family holiday, I'd be a bit more selective where you go to places, because otherwise I think you're going to be pretty bored. So I'd be quite selective. So for example, Montenegro, I would choose Kotor. It is a little bit pricey, but when I say pricey, more just like UK prices. But it's very nice, and it's more of like you could enjoy with a family on an extended weekend very well. So I'd find a place that there's a lot going on. Podgorica isn't going to give you that. Pristina in Kosovo, I think you can get pretty bored pretty quickly. It's a fun city, it's nice, people are absolutely amazing, but I think if you're on a family holiday, there won't be a right lot to do.
No, agreed.
And we haven't been to Tirana yet, but from what I hear, that might be similar.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like.
Yeah.
Would you like to say your favourite thing?
What's you, my dear?
Okay, well, just before I do move on, an additional least favourite thing. I don't want to be like too negative, but the drive to Kotor was horrendous, which we discussed.
Oh, that was terrifying. But I get mountain driving is beautiful, but it's terrifying.
Horrendous.
It was a bit silly, yeah.
It was outrageous. So if you do go to Podgorica and you go to Kotor from there, then you need to take the coastal road. It'll say that it's because it takes the same amount of time. It's just because it's closer in kilometers to go on the mountains, and that's why it sends you that way, because it's like better on gas, I guess. But it takes the same amount of time. So, yeah, my favorite thing was the boat tour in Kotor. I really enjoyed that. We had a boat tour that took us to the Church of Our Lady or something.
Church of Our Lady. Our Lady on the Rock or something.
Oh, Lady of the, yeah.
Lady of the Rock. We went to a submarine base.
Yeah.
Where they used to hold submarines in the war. We went to what they call a blue cave, which, because the water's so crystal blue, it makes the cave
so blue.
Ceilings blue.
We got to swim.
And we got to swim. I feel like there might have been something else, but when we just passed a couple of cool islands. Mussolini's concentration camp. We passed that, which is now a 5-star resort.
Bizarre.
Which is the most bizarre thing.
And we were very close to Italy
And
I think
Croatia.
it's closer to Croatia.
Yeah,
so, like,
he said if you just turn right, we'd be there in like 10 minutes.
So but it was a really nice tour. Nice group of people on it. I feel like it was a well planned tour, because sometimes you feel like there's not enough time anywhere, but I felt like there was a good amount of time at the places that they took us, and I felt like we got to experience it. Of course, you'd always want longer in certain bits, but yeah, I think it was a good. It was like a 3-hour boat tour. Yeah, actually, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a great boat tour. It was well worth the money. Great, yeah. It was really well managed. I think Kotor was a highlight for me. I think the one that I particularly liked was the Old Town in Kotor. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So if you're into, it's great because again, it's the blend. You get that historical aspect to it, and you also get a lot of restaurants and nice food, like really nice restaurants and bars and just fun things to see and do all in one place. And it's quite big. Like the Old Town is like really big, so it would be great as a solo travel couple or a family. Old Town Kotor generally would be good for all three of those. So I think the Old Town was a highlight for me. And I guess from a Montenegrin point of view, the people were lovely. Yeah, they were really nice. So Montenegro is a nice spot. Finally, to round it off, first impressions of Albania, my darling.
Oh, first impressions of Albania, very Neapolitan. Which I think there's of a lot of places that have been actually, but it just gives me Naples vibes. Okay,
yeah. You've been saying Disney vibes.
I have. Do you know what? A lot of times I've said that there's the main street in where are we? Durrës,
the second city and it has the biggest port in Albania here as well.
Yes. But there's like a street like heading down towards the Venetian fort. What's it called? The Venetian.
Yeah, I think the Venetian fort. It's like the Venetian Tower. Actually,
Venetian Tower.
The tower. It was a large fort that was in Durrës, and that was one of the towers.
Yeah. So like the road that you go down, it's like palm tree lined.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's like loads of restaurants, cafes, and stuff. And it just, I don't know, something about it gives me Disney Springs vibes. Probably the palm trees, but so like it's some sort of cross between Disney and Naples. Not quite exciting as what that might imply. But, what's your first impression?
First impression is the dogs don't mess about here. So we're used to wild dogs, street dogs. That's very common in a lot of places we travel, especially Asia. You can get them in a lot of countries. Indonesia and probably Pista in Mexico are probably the two areas. Like Bali in Indonesia and Pista in Mexico was probably the two areas I've seen the most street dogs. Just groups and groups everywhere. But they were all super friendly both times.
Yeah.
But here they're just not. I'm not saying you can't come here because of that, but they just seem a bit more aggressive. There's a lot of security dogs here. Like I've been jumped up at. Luckily it was fenced, but 2 German shepherds went mental. There was a Doberman that was chained. Luckily, these were chained up, but that went mental at me. But then just general street dogs are just... I mean, when I'm running is when it tends to happen, so it's hard not to startle a dog when you're running. But most are quite, pretty chilled out, and they understand what a runner is because they're a street dog. And I don't stare at them. I keep my distance. I have given them a wide berth, but I've just found the street dogs to be much more aggressive here. And I've been chased by 3 now. So I'll tell you, it's quite embarrassing. One, someone on the street had to help me. He shouted it off. And the second one, I ran into a restaurant for help. That's the reality of what's happened. And I'm about to go on a run, and I know I'm going to be jumped by one.
Yeah, please be careful.
I know, they're just so annoying. I don't know, they just don't like runners here. So, yeah, that's one impression. But there we go. An episode that's gone over 30 minutes. I'm really sorry, Shelby. I'm sorry. Yeah. She's giving...
We are equal, but let's just wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Another adventure wrapped up.
But the journey never ends.
Keep your bags packed for the next one. And remember, when in doubt, just say,
Yalla Habibi.
See you next time.